correct that there is not consultation, and I know you don't like that now. And I see that Senator Durbin's staff is trying to inform him, but I will remind them we corrected the record when this occurred and told you all you needed to stop pushing forward these judges without working with us. So shoes on the other foot.
Okay. We'll now turn to...
Things going wrong with the mic. Is that... Oh, there, back on again. My light is just on. I think you can hear me. I just wanted to be recognized on the Seventh Circuit nominee, and I wanted to confirm with the chairman that we have an understanding that comments relating to the judges will be heard before we vote on them, but that other comments, we have offered you the courtesy of postponing until after the votes, and that the committee will remain open so that we can make our comments at that time. Is that correct?
Speak on the judge you want to speak on.
And the other part is correct as well?
And you want to speak.
Yep. Very quickly today, we're going to vote on Brian.
Here, I called on Whitehouse.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Just on the Seventh Circuit nominee, we are in a downward spiral in this committee, it seems to me, in which the Republican majority, when you have the majority, takes liberties with the traditional norms and procedures of the committee. And then when the shoe is on the other foot and we follow the new rule established by the Republicans, there is outrage that we have done this. And I say this in the context of this committee unilaterally yielding to the executive branch our circuit court blue slip. The Seventh Circuit judge is coming without a blue slip from one of the Wisconsin senators. We have seats on circuit courts that are associated with our states, and customarily for years, for decades, senators had the ability to make recommendations to the president on those circuit court nominees. The Republican majority decided to end that, and when we followed on, we heard bitter objections from Republican senators when we took the same step. So now we're back again, and we have a Seventh Circuit nominee associated with the state of Wisconsin, with the Wisconsin senator being completely rolled in that matter. This is one of many instances of the degradation of this committee, but I think that just as a general proposition, when senators are handing back to the executive branch a power as significant as a blue slip on a circuit court nominee, and with respect to the recent Delaware nominee, there's no longer even necessarily a real connection to the state, let alone an approval by the state senator. It, to me, makes no sense that we as a body would throw that power away. And I make this point now on this person because sooner or later, the winds will shift and the gavel will shift. And I want to make it loud and clear that if you really want to go back to a time when senators' input is respected on circuit court nominees at the White House, this makes that nearly impossible.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman.
I'm going to call on the ranking.
I would like to respond to that and
You'll
correct
get your
the
chance.
record
Can we vote
of what Mr. Whitehouse has said, because this is something under President Biden that happened to Senator Hagerty and me not once but twice. And you're correct that there is not consultation, and I know you don't like that now. And I see that Senator Durbin's staff is trying to inform him, but I will remind them we corrected the record when this occurred and told you all you needed to stop pushing forward these judges without working with us. So shoes on the other foot.
I plead with my Republican colleagues, if we want to get these nominations out, I said I would stay afterwards to hear anything you wanted to say. Senator Durbin.
I will be brief. I want to associate myself with the remarks of Senator Whitehouse on the blue slip. When I chaired the committee, I did my best to honor the blue slip, and I was criticized on the left. Now that the worms have turned, or whatever you want to say, I'm being criticized on the right. We need more blue slip, they say. I just have to say it should apply in both circumstances.
Now the remarks by Senator Graham.
Very quickly, today we're going to vote on Brian Sterling to be the U.S. Attorney for the District of South Carolina. I've known Brian for a long time. He graduated from the University of South Carolina School of Law. He was Nikki Haley's Chief of Staff. He was Assistant Attorney General in our state and spent 12 years in charge of the Department of Corrections, and he's in an interim status. I think he's just a really great choice, and urge our members to vote for him if you can.
Okay, we got 25 minutes to get out these nominations, so well, the clerk will call the roll on Rebecca Tableson.
Mr. Graham.
Aye.
Mr. Cornyn.
At today's Senate Judiciary Committee hearing, Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, Democrat, Rhode Island, took the floor with a pointed criticism of what he described as a breakdown in long-standing Senate traditions, particularly the blue slip process that has historically allowed home state senators to approve or block judicial nominees connected to their states. His frustration centered on the nomination of a Seventh Circuit Court judge from Wisconsin, which, according to Whitehouse, was advancing without the support or approval of one of Wisconsin's own senators. He began by expressing disappointment at what he called a downward spiral within the committee. Whitehouse argued that each time the Senate majority changes, the rules and procedures that once defined fairness are rewritten to suit political goals. He said the majority party, currently the Republicans, has taken liberties with traditional practices, undermining the checks and balances that once gave senators a real voice in judicial appointments. The blue slip, once considered an essential form of senatorial courtesy, has eroded over recent years. For decades, the system required both home state senators to approve a judicial nominee before the nomination could move forward. Whitehouse accused the committee of abandoning that tradition, allowing the executive branch to push through nominees without meaningful input from the Senate. He warned that such actions set a dangerous precedent, one that weakens the institution's constitutional authority and reduces senators to spectators in a process they were meant to help shape. This isn't about one nominee, Whitehouse said, his tone sharpened by years of frustration. It's about what happens when we, as senators, give away our role and let the executive branch take over decisions that once required consultation and consent. Sooner or later, the winds will shift, and the gavel will shift, and those who are comfortable with this now may find themselves regretting it. His comments drew a quick and firm response from Senator Marsha Blackburn, Republican Tennessee, who rejected the notion that the problem was one-sided. Blackburn reminded the committee that under President Biden, she and Senator Bill Hagerty had faced similar treatment. According to her, the White House bypassed both Tennessee senators twice when nominating federal judges, providing no real consultation. This isn't just a Republican issue, she countered. It happened to us under your administration too. You didn't like it then, and we don't like it now. Blackburn accused Democrats of selective outrage, arguing that both parties have abandoned Senate courtesy when convenient. She said the real issue was not which party held power, but the gradual erosion of mutual respect that once guided the committee's work. If we keep rewriting the rules depending on who's in charge, she said, we'll destroy whatever integrity this process has left. Senator Dick Durbin, Democrat Illinois, the committee's chair, stepped in to add his perspective. He aligned with Whitehouse's main point, saying that when he previously chaired the committee, he had made a deliberate effort to honor the blue slip policy, even when it drew criticism from his own party. I was told more than once that I was being too cautious, Durbin said, but I believed in respecting that tradition. Now, I'm being criticized from the other side for not being strict enough about it. The truth is, it should apply in both circumstances, Democrats or Republicans. The exchange underscored a larger debate within the committee: how much power senators should retain over judicial nominations versus how much should be handed to the White House. Both sides seem to agree that the process has become more politicized, though they disagreed sharply on who was to blame. As the discussion began to cool, Senator Lindsey Graham, RSC, shifted focus to another matter on the agenda: the nomination of Brian Sterling to serve as U.S. Attorney for the District of South Carolina. Graham spoke warmly of Sterling, calling him a man of integrity and experience. "I've known Brian for years," he said. "He's served our state well, from his time as an assistant attorney general to his leadership at the Department of Corrections. He was also chief of staff to Governor Nikki Haley, and I believe he's the right person for this position." Despite the tension from earlier in the session, members of the committee appeared to agree on moving forward with several pending votes. The chairman reminded everyone that time was limited. Roughly 25 minutes remained to complete the day's agenda. The first vote called was for Rebecca Tableson, marking a return to the business of confirming nominees after an emotionally charged discussion about Senate norms, fairness, and the future of judicial independence. By the end of the hearing, it was clear that the blue slip debate had reopened old wounds within the Senate. Both parties acknowledged that the erosion of procedural respect has consequences that extend far beyond a single nomination. For some, it was a warning of how quickly traditions can disappear. For others, a sign that the Senate must adapt to modern realities. Either way, the hearing left one thing certain: the committee's struggle between precedent and power is far from over.